Welcome to the 1000 Comics Podcast. It's your host, Matt Heath. How you doing today, folks? It's been a little while, I feel, since my last episode. I've been spending so much time with my family for the holidays. I kind of took a step out of the comedy game for a minute. That's just the way it feels. It feels like I've been going so hard since they've lifted the rules from the pandemic toward my comedy career. I'm glad during the holiday season I kind of remembered what was important and kind of reconnected with my family. You know, something I really needed to do. I saw my sister, my brother-in-law, their kids. I took my niece sledding for the first time. You know, they're from Florida, so, she had never seen snow. I got to take her sledding. She got a little scrape up when we went out sledding. But, so it's a part of the learning process of sledding. She was so excited the first time we went out that she was relentlessly wanting to go out a second time because it was so fun. And then it's like you realize that you're mortal. You get a little scrape up. So good work out there, Jacqueline. She's learning what it's like to be a New England kid, and I like that. And she went full force. And I'm talking on the phone with my sister and my niece in a friggin' three-way call with my sister's friend, who I've known for years, growing up with, and they're telling me about, ice cream and sugar-free chocolate chips like diet ice cream that helps you make, Keep you regular. Now I'm the middle-aged guy, talking to his sister and her kids, I'm not the young, carefree guy I once was. I'm the middle-aged guy now. The middle-aged guy that, I was the young buck that was MIA, now I'm just a guy that checks in with his sister, we talk about keeping regular, stuff like that. Oh, I was writing yesterday, and I started to get writer's cramp. I was writing a journal entry, I started to get writer's cramp in the middle of it. And, it was the first time I really felt I had to physically stop writing because of, something how I felt physically. Usually it's a mental thing. It's a mental stop that makes you stop writing. But now that I'm getting older, it's a physical thing that makes you stop. And, maybe it's because I'm turning 30 in a few months and I'm finally seeing life for what it is, And I talked to somebody about it, who I know also writes and is also an intellectual, and we went out for coffee and pondered the intellectual void that is life, walking through a cemetery today. And that's not all the only weird thing that happened to me today. I go to get my oil changed, and I become the aimless wanderer walking around Stop and Shop while I'm waiting for my oil to get changed at Monroe, because I know it's going to take a couple hours. And then I bump into my buddy's wife, and then she takes me back to their place, and I have lunch with my buddy and his wife while my car, just out of nowhere, and while my car's getting its oil changed. And it was just a nice, happy coincidence. With good friends, just makes the world go round, man. And I'm thankful for, my comedian friends, but, if it wasn't for the people that I grew up with, the people in my hometown, I don't know if I'd be the guy that today. I feel I'm a comedian, but I could easily be a regular Joe too, I don't know. The thing is about being sober, it's you start to realize that Like, there's only two modes in life. Like, it's either figure out how to save money, coupon and shit, and figure out how to save money. And then the other mode is like, I am pondering the intellectual, existential void that is life. Like, what is the point of it all? You know? And that, I think that's why we need family in life. You know? You gotta have, like, you know, you gotta have family, you know? You gotta have structure. It's important. You know? Sugar-free chocolate chips that make you take a nice dump. Keep it regular. I really had to bring it there. Did I have to make? Did I gotta make it scatological there? Anyways, Joe Fox is the guy on the show today. Great comedian, great friend. Worked with him on a comedy sketch that he directed during like right around October. We filmed this, you know, like Salem witch trial type, like SNL type. It was really professional. Like it's probably my first like real shot at kind of like sketch comedy. So I'm really excited about that. Let me just do an ad read real quick, guys. Okay. This, you probably heard a lot about cannabidol, or CBD, but have you heard about the plant science company taking the lead in providing highest quality CBD nationwide? At your CBD store, Simsbury, you will find a fantastic staff that creates a comfortable environment where you can get your questions answered and find the right products to get the relief you need. They will be your #1 source for providing quality education about the products for you and your pet. They offer a full line of edibles, creams, USDA certified oils, and more, all developed under the guidance of their PhD analytical chemists and health leaders across the industry. So they're serious over there. And to back up their story, they also provide extensive third-party testing to ensure what's on the products is actually in the products. They are located at 1243 Hot Meadow Street in Simsbury and open 7 days a week. Give them a call at 860-217-1433. Visit their website at ycbdsimsbury.com or stop in for free samples and get the highest quality products you can find. Your CBD store, Simsbury, where good health hits home. If you'd like to, sponsor my podcast, if you'd like to sponsor it yourself, send a few shekels to, at Thank You Masked Man on Venmo. I'm at Thank You Masked Man on Venmo. So if you want to, send some, if you like the show, you want to keep it going, you want to see more cool celebrities and stuff like that, or perhaps, I don't know what else I'm going to throw out at you. Come on, guys. I got Aida Turturro about to read you a Christmas poem, the sister from The Sopranos. You guys like her? Yeah, that's right. Aida Turturro. One of the best sisters on TV. Great sister in real life, because she's John Turturro's sister in real life. So she's Tony Soprano's sister. She's John Turturro's sister in real life. She did this gift for my sister, which she read her it's like a Buddhist Christmas poem, and I think you're really gonna enjoy it. It's by John Greenleaf Whittier, and she really went all out. She actually found an actual. It's not like she read the poem offline. She found an actual book with the poem in it. Went all out to read you guys this poem. So enjoy Aida Turturro reading this Christmas poem for you guys. This is my Christmas gift to you. And then after that, enjoy my interview I did with Joe Fox.
Mommy. It's Aida Totoro here. And your wonderful sweet brother, Matthew, asked me to read the Mystic's Christmas for you. And I will do that for your Christmas present. All hail the bells of Christmas rang. All hail the monks at Christmas sang. The merry monks who kept with cheer the gladdest day of all their year. But still apart, unmoved thereat, a pious elder brother sat, silent in his accustomed place, with God's sweet peace upon his face. Why sittest thou thus? His brethren cried. It is the blessed Christmas tide. The Christmas lights are all aglow. The sacred lilies bud and blow. Above our heads the joy bells ring. Without the happy children sing. And all God's creatures hail the morn on which the Holy Christ was born. Rejoice with us, no more rebuke, or gladness with the quiet look. The gray monk answered, Keep, I pray, even as ye list the Lord's birthday. Let heathen Yule fires flicker red, where thronged refectory feasts are spread, with mystery play and mask and mime, and wait songs speed the holy time. The blindest faith may happily save, the Lord accepts the things we have, and reverence howsoever it strays, may find the last the shining ways. They needs must grope who cannot see, the blade before the ear must be. As ye are feeling I have felt, and where ye dwell I too have dwelt. But now beyond the things of sense, beyond occasions and events, I know through God's exceeding grace, release from form and time and place. I listen from no mortal tongue. I hear the song that angels sung, and wait within myself to know the Christmas lilies bud and blow. The outward symbols disappear from him whose inward sight is clear, and small must be choice of days to him who fills them all with praise. Keep while you need it, brothers mine, with honest zeal your Christmas sign, but judge not him who every morn feels in his heart the Lord Christ born. What a beautiful poem. I just wanted to say Merry Christmas to you from your brother who loves you very much. My brother is so dear to me as well. And I hope you enjoy that. It is a beautiful poem. And I'm just sending you love and happiness and peace at this Christmas time. We all have to be grateful for what we do have and have peace in our hearts and love in our hearts. So have a Merry Christmas. It was so good to give you this gift from your brother. Merry Christmas.
I speak softly, so I'll try to project.
All right, so welcome to the 1000 Comics Podcast. I'm sitting here with my buddy Joe Fox.
Hey.
How you doing, man?
I'm good. I like that you just thrust me into this. For anybody listening, I'm on my phone, just to show you the commitment I was just on.
Yeah, but now you're off the phone. We're only 20 seconds in.
I'm here in... This is what I wanted to say for the podcast I was talking about. Matt lives in the coolest comic apartment of all time. This looks like what I picture when I was like going into comedy, and I was like,
like what a comedian's apartment would look like.
This is the struggling artist apartment that I like.
It is. This is when. Yeah. You know, I just heard recently on like one of the Sopranos podcasts they were talking about Larry David like lived in this like shitty, scary looking building that like the rent was like basically nothing.
He looks like he haunts the basement of like an old apartment building. Just he looks like a fucking troll. He's beautiful. Right? You're beautiful. For the I think you're amazing.
But like no, I feel like this is like it's only. I feel like this apartment building is only not sad because I'm an artist.
No, it's definitely.
Do you know what I mean?
It's totally appropriate. I got here and I was just like, oh, I could brood here and then turn it into something cool that I think's cool, and then other people are like, damn, this dude.
But I know what you're saying. Like, if I wasn't something, like I gotta be like an artist or a poet or hey, you get. It's like how like they say people that like live in the East Village in New York have to be like something.
No, this is great. It's like you can't be in like the white picket fence, like the Tim Burton symmetrical house, and then walk out and be like fucking super into Batman or brooding. You've got to do that. You've got to be in here, and this is good. This works.
I totally pick up what you're throwing down, and it's like. You know, it's like, I honestly, like, have gotten back into Seinfeld recently, and it's just like, I think the reason is because I live in a tiny little apartment, and so does he, so it's like, it
resonates with you, but it's,
I actually look at it through, like, a different lens now. It's like, I have a weird neighbor now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's things that people pretend they're too cool for, like, they'll be like, oh, that's cliche, that's this or that, but then there's, like, a year in your life you hit where you're like, oh, fuck, yeah, that's like, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Like, Friends, like, I was never really into Friends, people like to pick on Friends, but there's a reason they fucking put it in Times Square when it was, like, everybody was like, oh, no.
Right.
I, like, even on, like, bad nights, I could, go on this and be like, oh, other people are,
I find it extremely difficult to rewatch Friends. I watched it in its heyday, like, when I was, like, young. And I watched it when it was originally when it was on its like primetime spot and everything. When the episodes were new. I find it extremely difficult to rewatch that show.
Yeah, I can't even pretend I can rewatch it because I never really watched it. I missed it. I was young and then I was too cool and now I'm just fucking...
There's two main reasons I find it very difficult to rewatch that show. One, I find the characters so hard to relate to.
Yeah.
Because it's like, who the fuck, like, why is the show about a fucking paleontologist?
Right.
And, like, you don't even know what this guy does for a living. The other guy's an actor. It's so fucking cliche.
You know what's funny, though? Is when I was a kid, I never even knew that, so you just said that. So if you told me as a kid that he was a paleontologist, I probably would have watched it.
Really?
Because
you were so into dinosaurs.
I wanted to be a paleontologist when I was little, yeah. And then my dad, I swear to God, and this explains so much about me and why I'm here doing this right now, is that when I was little, I was like, I want to be a paleontologist, and my dad was like, when you're older, they'll have found all the dinosaurs. Like, there's no point. And then I was like, well, I just completely gave up on it.
They'll have found all the dinosaurs? That's the reason not to become a paleontologist?
When I was little, I was like, oh, yeah, I mean, why even bother?
That's your dad's, like, reasoning to, like, push you out of the field of science?
This is the same moron who, like, when he was educating, we were going to, like, a Christmas thing. And my dad had no family because he's just, like, fucking impossible to be around.
Right.
And so he'd go to, like, random houses on Christmas. And, like, one year he went to the house of this dude who was in Cats. I don't know why. I don't know the dude's name, but I just remember he was in Cats. And this is, like, to my point about my dad being terrible at fucking explaining things or explaining why not to do things.
Right.
He was like, just so you know, this guy, and then he, like, pushes his two index fingers together. He's like this, and this doesn't work, but we're just going to be cool about it.
Right.
And I remember even as a kid being like, that is so fucking stupid. To read like that, this dude's just sitting there thinking gay people are just smashing their fucking loaves together at the there's that classic bro. He's just like, this doesn't make sense.
It's like he just like...
Yeah. I should have gave context that the gentleman's a homosexual, but I did mention he was in Cats.
But that's his basis of explaining, like, I'm sure he never even had, like, sounds like the type of dad that never had the talk. You guys never had the talk.
No. We had, alright, let me just kick it back, because maybe I misrepresented him. We definitely had the talk, but it was, like, not needed. I remember he took a screwdriver with an orange handle.
Okay, I kind of saw a story like this.
And he, like, pushed a condom over it. And I don't remember what he said because I think I was just in the moment. Just my brain was just fucking on the fritz because I think I was like 7.
Right.
He was just fucking out of his mind. But I'm not gonna bore you with that.
It sounds like there was more to that story.
Dude, I like. Oh my god, dude. I was from the start just so fucked as far as the way like, just my sexuality and the way I view women. Not that I'm like a pig or anything. but I was just exposed to porn so young.
Right.
That by the time kids were like, look at this, like it was uncomfortable how normalized already. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Your dad, they're like, my dad can't find out I'm looking at these, and I was like, my dad gave me these.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. My dad was like, he's just a Superman child. He still is.
My dad always kind of like ignored that kind of stuff.
It's what you want, right? It's a middle. It's always in the middle.
I think is the one thing that I remember we did like father and son when I discovered myself sexually. Like, it wasn't like he ever gave me the talk, because he wasn't that kind of guy. Like, it's like he pretty much like I guess thought I would just figure it all out on my own.
Which you do. Hopefully it's not like awful. Like, I guess if you try to figure it out on your own.
But I remember when I was like 13 or 14 when I first kind of like started like discovering my own body and started taking longer showers or whatever.
Right.
I remember that also that show Stacked with Pamela Anderson came out and Christopher Lloyd. And I remember I used to watch that with my dad. So it's like, okay, now I kind of see what it's like. This is I'm like a man now. Well, I guess I can kind of watch this like you watch it.
Americans
you know what
don't
I mean?
need dads because we have TV. Like all my sexual awakenings were on the for television.
Yeah,
it wasn't do you remember like some of the first moments you saw where you were just like, holy shit, I don't give a fuck about Legos. Like, I know everybody has like the Jessica Rabbit's a big one.
Yeah, you know what? That was in my mind. Like, one of the first boners I ever got was for Jessica Rabbit. It blows your fucking mind because your parents are bringing you to see this, and you're like, it must be okay, and you're like, I feel really okay when I look at it, so it must be great, and then you're just shoving your fucking dick between the cushions in the movie theater, and it's just, Well, I never did that.
My mom said it was okay. She brought me. It must have been. No, but I was that. Lola Bunny was a weird one.
Because she was a rabbit.
Yeah, but I'll defend it. I will say... Because
there's something sexual about rabbits. Just Playboy wouldn't be a thing.
I never... Yeah. I never really thought... Well, because that's got to be... The Playboy thing's got to be because rabbits are... they reproduce it.
And you just obviously just pointed at the Marge Simpson. You're very observant.
It's a cool apartment. I'll move it around.
Yeah. So I got the Marge Simpson and she's sitting in a Playboy bunny chair on the cover of it. So
I thought that was cool. But but in their defense, when they made her so sexual, because I was talking with Rex about this, and he was like, they were talking about how weird it is that they really put the time into anime. I mean, that shit's not easy to do. So they put the time in, and at no point were they like, is this too much? But from a narrative perspective, Bugs Bunny is the coolest. I guess I'll call him a person, coolest person in like pop culture history to me. Like Bugs Bunny is cool,
right?
So like if you're gonna melt Bugs Bunny, it's got to be the baddest bunny bitch that's like ever existed. So they kind of had no choice because if she wasn't like a drop dead like smoke show, it's fucking Bugs Bunny. Like he's not gonna.
I didn't realize we were gonna get into like bestiality, like animation.
No. Like Bugs Bunny and Lola Bunny together is not bestiality. It's just weird because I'm watching.
Oh my God.
We can switch subject.
No. I mean, is there anything else you wanted to say about that subject? Because
I'm not.
There's other things we can talk about.
I'm not claiming to be an expert on this, and I don't want anybody to think that I'm misrepresenting or representing. The bestiality community.
It's kind of strange how like I was like a Connecticut comic for years. I moved down to Florida for a couple years.
Right, I remember you said that. Yeah.
I came back here, and all of a sudden there's these new guys on the scene. There's a Joe Fox. There's a Rex Caesar.
Was that about that time when
it was around the same time that I came back, and I'm like, who are these guys? Like they're obviously like new. Well, I was gonna say new to the stand-up, but I could tell like you're both like into the creative arts.
Yeah. So you came back like around the end of 2019, like around that's.
No, I think it was actually even 2018 maybe.
Okay. So we were doing stuff. So you've met Dave on the set of like we were doing the sketches. I'll tease that later. What the hell?
Yeah, we can get into that in a minute.
Yeah, no, and I'm not even trying to like shove that plug in there, but it you met Dave on that set. Dave was kind of the first domino.
What's Dave's last name, by the way?
Rawali.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm DC Rawali on Instagram. You're welcome. Yeah. So I'm just saying no words. Dave, Rex, and I all went to high school together.
Okay.
And Dave then went to school and got involved in the film and television community.
Right.
And reached out to me, and I was a mail clerk at the time. And he was doing a short film that had a mailman in it, close enough, so he called me for like references to, what do they do? He really didn't need to ask me. Like you walk up to the door. I wasn't gonna give him any actually if you take your left hand and reach into the bag this way. And there really was no mailman insight I was gonna give him. But what actually ended up happening was I just ended up doing being camera operator and stuff, and just being like, oh, I want to do this.
Right.
Like he knew I loved movies. We would just talk about movies constantly. So we started hanging out a lot. And Rex was the lead in that movie that he referenced, the mailman on.
Okay, so he played the mailman.
No, he played a character that the mailman had beef. They had a beef.
Okay.
I'm not really doing it justice by saying that.
Does this have a name? Is this this project out there somewhere?
It's probably on YouTube, or just go to Dave's DC Rawali page. But it's called Postal, and Jerry is his drunken, defamed radio DJ.
Okay.
Or Rex, rather. Sorry, not Jerry's not a real person. Sorry, Rex. And he's just drinking himself to death, and he starts taking on his mailman. And so that was it. It was a lot of fun. And ever since then, we've all been doing stuff like that with Dave, and slowly building our own projects. And we scratch Dave's back, and Dave scratches our back. And eventually, I just was I've been thinking about doing stand-up forever. I would watch stand-up as a kid, and I would be like,
Where did Dave go to film school?
He didn't necessarily go to film school. I actually don't even pretend to know what he majored in, but he went to Central.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's actually a teacher there that's really kind of lent us all that gear we used that day you were on set that we got pretty close to, named Josh. He's the man.
Right.
And so just connections through Central is my point. That's how I got into a lot of this stuff. And then slowly, I was just I want to do stand-up more than I want to do any of this.
Okay.
And I kind of want stand-up to be my window to be able to do this stuff, because I see Childish Gambino, Jordan Peele. Those I guess only two things I can think of that pertain to what I'm saying. But where they get this name in stand-up, and then they just start to dip their fingers in all these different pies and have fun with it. And I was like, I want to do that.
Right.
And so I went up there and I just ate shit. So bad.
Okay, so your first time on stage, you go with Jerry, or you go with Rex, or you just went yourself?
No,
Where'd you go?
I went by myself to the Seagrape in Fairfield.
Okay.
And I didn't know anybody there.
Who was hosting that night? You remember?
It was Nick. I don't want to butcher his last name. Scopes. I'm sorry.
I don't know, because I started going to that mic when Miles was hosting.
He does Unhinged, the podcast Unhinged and all those.
Okay.
Really funny guy. I should probably know his name. I helped him do camera work for his live podcast. It was great. I'm just terrible with names. But I emailed him, signed up, got there. He was hosting. And I just didn't know anybody, dude. I was so fucking scared. I'm still scared when I go up. I'm scared for tonight. But I just ate shit. And I didn't want to get off stage, because if I just got off stage early, I would never forgive myself. I was and then I'll never work up the courage to get back up there if you pussy out. And so I just started talking shit to people at the bar, and that wasn't even getting any laughs. And then I got off, and the host was just all right, made a lot of friends, Joe Fox. And I was like, oh shit. And my second open mic was there too. Dude, I go to sit down at the table with all the comics. A bunch of people we know. They were all there.
Right.
All sitting, and I haven't talked to any of them yet. Except for John Murray. John Murray was nice to me, but I haven't talked to anyone else yet. And oh my god, dude! I went to sit down and I spilled my beer all over the comics table.
Right.
Dude, that's it. That's the end of that story. It was a nightmare. I just shut down emotionally for the rest of the night. I just spilled the fucking beer all over the table. Ray Robinson was handing me napkins. Dude, it was brutal.
So you're trying to play it cool, but you obviously came off as nervous as you were.
I was trying to even play it moderately tolerable, and I still just belly flopped onto the fucking table. Oh my god. I'm ranting, but it's a lot more fun now.
See, I was always under the impression that like you and Rex like started together almost, but it's like you got to do it first, and then you kind of talked him into doing it.
That's because Rex is funny, and then people saw me with him. But no, I started in September last year, and he I think started late November because we were on set for Dave is working on a short right now,
right?
So we were both on set for that, and I was so sick of driving to Fairfield alone and then driving home alone knowing how bad I did. I was like, dude, he's always been the funniest person I know. And I'm not just trying to ride his dick too much. Like, I'll roast him later. But he's just, I remember we were on set for something one day and they yelled like, they were like, action, and he didn't hear him. And they were like, Jerry, come out. And he just burst out of the door at the top of this hill and he just goes, I'm gay! Everybody's like, come out! And I just remember him doing that, and I was like, dude, come do stand-up with me. You would crush. And then it was so stupid. But you just have all these people at the bottom of the hill, like, yelling up at the house, like, come out! And then just, pop, I'm gay! And so, the first flight we both carpooled to was our house. And he did that, I won't get to do his jokes, but he did good. And yeah, we've just been kind of the tag team in Mike's ever since.
Well, that's awesome, man. Yeah. That's awesome that you guys were kind of like a duo at first, and you're still working on stuff together.
Yeah.
Especially, I guess we could talk about now the sketch that you guys had me on.
Yeah.
Which was the
dude, I can't wait to show you that footage of you. You're so fucking funny. I'm not trying.
Which was called with the witch. What was it called? We're
still working on a title that people won't fucking cringe looking at.
What was the working title?
The original title, which isn't what we're going with, was The Salem Bitch Cunt.
Oh, the Salem Bitch Trial. I thought it was.
I don't even want to call. I'd rather honestly have the word cunt than
the word cunt was. I didn't even recall the word cunt being there.
I'd rather it be the Salem Witch Cunt than the Salem Bitch Hunt. Just because, like, I find cunt less offensive than calling women, like, you know what I mean? I mean, do either one, I'm not going to fucking... I think it's funny.
Right.
But if I had to choose, I'd be like, cunt seems way less offensive. It's just a fun word.
So this was a sketch written by Rex Caesar.
Yeah.
And then, like, how was it, like, he called you and said you should direct this? Or was Dave involved first? How did that all work?
So, Rex and I, we wanted to just kind of stockpile things and then just put a channel together. Because I was like, if I put a channel together, I don't want to just have a sketch channel. I want to like barstool it. I was like, they have Barstool Fishing, Barstool this, Barstool that. I was like, I want to do that with comedy. And so we just slowly started talking about sketches. And then when the idea of a sketch show came up, we had the idea for a podcast that we're doing that coincides with the sketch show, which will make sense when we put a trailer out. And then there may or may not be also a short in the works, kind of hyperbolizing us in there, just being like ourselves times 10.
Right.
And then we want to like put that short into a web series.
Okay.
And so we're kind of trying to work all that and just fucking get all this content to dump on everyone. But it's so much fucking work, man. Like, it's like having a day job and then trying to do like a web series. Oh my god.
Are you kidding me? I got a day job, a night job, and like it's like the podcast and stand up is a lot to handle. Just juggling those two.
Dude, just stand up in the day job even without the podcast. But I mean, I don't even complain. It's a great problem to have. Like, I have all this cool shit to do. But yeah, it is a lot.
So in this sketch, Rex plays a judge. Yeah. You play a lawyer,
like a defendant,
public
defender,
a public defender, basically for a witch,
right?
And I play like a drunken rapist pirate.
Yeah. Yes, I would say yes to that. Yeah, dude. And then we also have Mustafa in there as a prosecutor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I might as well say everybody. At this point, we said everyone. And then my friend Joba, who does all our graphic design and helps with set building and things. He's he's a scribe.
All right.
Yeah, and then obviously we have our witch. But dude, I have some slow motion footage of you that I'm so excited to show you. It's so fucking funny.
me with my gut out, and apparently this is
always funny.
This is me just rubbing my gut in front of a camera is like now like a running thing,
dude.
Because me and Rex filmed. We got together with my buddy James.
Yeah.
And we filmed a sketch to go along with the stand-up that was filmed the night of the Christmas show, which you were on.
How do I not know about this?
And I should tell the audience a little bit about how this Christmas show went, because I've advertised the Christmas show, but I haven't really talked about it at all yet.
Yeah.
It was a complete success, and I gotta say, Joe Fox here was the unsung hero of the night. The night before the Christmas show, Joe Fox had a great set at the open mic.
Thank you.
And honestly, some of the best stand-up I've seen you do in months, since before the quarantine.
Yeah, thanks, man. I don't know. I just kind of like had a like. The thing about like stand-up is the minute I show any insecurity on stage, I just start to like eat shit. Because I'm trying to have these bits where
but now you're starting to learn that you can work with the insecurity.
And exactly. To that point, I just was like, if it happens, I have to lean into it. If it doesn't, I just have... It's just momentum is the hardest thing I've had with this. Because I love writing. I kind of get how to structure jokes, even when I pretend I don't, because I forget, lines. All that stuff. For me, it's just momentum. Because the minute I have a pause and I make eye contact with the wrong person, you just have that, like, drifting through space moment, and you're like, oh no!
Right.
You're just trying to grab any gravitational pull, but
it's like it's you got to learn. I think it's a psychologist define laughter as just the breaking of nervous tension.
Really?
So
that makes sense.
So all that's happening when you're harnessing like nervous tension. It's like you could either bomb with it, or you could use it to your advantage.
Yeah, or you could light the room up with it. Yeah, absolutely. That I don't know. My new set is just so stupid, and I've realized I should probably just to get comfortable up there. I can't be going up there pretending to be George Carlin. As much as I like writing that kind of stuff, and I am pretentious. I will continue to write that stuff.
Right.
I'm gonna try. I don't care. But having some of those just I suck dick jokes, they're fucking fun, and it's making me way more confident on stage. So I'm just gonna stick with that for a bit. Just stick with listen, it's about getting laughs. So if I'm finally getting laughs, that's the fucking I'm gonna follow the compass. So
yeah. There's definitely something to, and I've had that same thought plenty of times. Yeah. It's like I'm doing this because I want to be George Carlin. Yeah. Where it's like that's like the wrong way to go.
Yeah.
Because like being a comic is all about or being an entertainer is all about putting yourself out there.
Right.
So it's like when you go out there and you're like, instead of thinking I want to be like George Carlin, just think I want to be the best Joe Fox I could be.
Right.
And that's the way to do it, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So anyways, you kill, or I'm going to say you kill, but you did well. You did well.
Let's go with did well.
That night of that open mic, and I said, hey, you should be on the Christmas show tomorrow. I mean, you and Rex started together. He's headlining that night. You should come to the show.
Right.
You did. You brought a bunch of people, and the fucking show was phenomenal. It was fun.
How much fun was that?
Right?
Dude, you can never go out of themed parties. Like you have to you introduce alcohol and you pay tickets to get into stuff like that now to make it seem more adult. But really, theme shit's the best. Even you never grow out of that. It's so much fun. Seeing Rex as Santa and everything, you're just like, oh, this is just a fun way to spend the fucking Thursday night.
So I was saying to Rex after the show, the next day or whatever, I was like, I could just drop these toys off at the recovery center, which I was planning on doing.
Right.
And but what fun would that be? If I just if that's all we did. I was like, why don't you come over? We'll film something with you as Santa, and it's I forgot, a sketch where it's I forgot to drop off the toys.
Yeah, I just realized I completely derailed it. This is the sketch you're going to do to coincide. I'm so excited about it.
So, and you're upset that I forgot to drop off the toys. So, so I didn't even write dialogue for this. I just wrote down a bunch of ideas. Boom, 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 boom. And we just had so much fun with it. He comes in banging on the door out here. Like he's like, I can see you when you're sleeping. I don't want to give away the whole thing, but I
know you're awake in there.
Like like how I said I'm passed out in my underwear. So when we were waiting to film, I was just rubbing my gut in front of the camera. I was like, this is what I was doing the last
signature move. It's like it's Jim Carrey's eyebrows, except just more surface area.
But the one thing I won't give away a lot about the sketch, but just an idea I had, and I just couldn't believe. With just one joke I got to mention was that I brought a couple of the toys up from the toy drive.
Yeah.
One of them was a Mr. Potato Head.
Fuck yeah.
And one of them was like a Harry Potter board game.
Yeah.
And I was like, what we should do is I'll be wrapping presents and you'll be like upset with what I'm doing. And I'm wrapping the Mr. Potato Head and he comes up and he's like, I thought I told you, no more Mr. Potato Head. He's like, this is what's turning kids transgender. all these switching body parts. They don't know if they got a mouth or an asshole or whatever. And,
he was a trans icon.
And then he grabs the Harry Potter board game and he's like, no, this is a toy. The reason I had to bring up that one joke that was in it, I called my sister today, who's coming to visit next week for Christmas up from Florida with her 2 kids. And I ask her, I say, what are your kids into nowadays?
Right.
I want to know what to get them for Christmas.
We're that age.
She goes, well, Jacqueline, the older one, her daughter, is really into Harry Potter, you know? And I'm like, okay. I'm like, I just gave away like all these toys to the recovery center. I could have saved that one toy.
I don't know if that would have been a good idea.
I mean,
well, you didn't, so now we can talk about it. You totally should have.
Yeah, whatever. I ended up just buying. I actually bought her something better online. I bought her one of like a Harry Potter stationery set because she's homeschooled now because she's got to do it remote.
Yep.
So I thought, hey, a Harry Potter stationery set would be perfect.
Yeah.
And I bought her a Harry Potter winter hat because she's coming up from Florida.
Nice. I just thought I might have bought one of those too.
Thought she might need some winter clothing.
All right.
But she goes, Harry Potter. I'm like, well, and she goes, and Jeffrey, the 2-year-old, he just had a Toy Story themed birthday party. You see a Buzz Lightyear cake.
Am I being punked?
And she goes, he has this Mr. Potato Head doll. He won't put it down.
And you're like, I gave away all the toys I needed for this fucking birthday party.
But you know something, like, I think it was just more of a happy coincidence than anything.
Oh, no, it's
because you can't give a 2-year-old a real Mr. Potato Head doll. The parts are too small.
Yeah, they'll just have a chicken nugget left and be choking.
Yeah.
Dude, I get so excited to buy things for kids because I secretly just want to buy myself toys all the fucking time.
Right?
I'm sure you can relate, right?
I had the same feeling of gratification doing the Ghostbuster themed show. Yeah. Because I was like, now I get to keep my eyes out for Ghostbusters.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying about like the themed things. Like anything that gives you an excuse as an adult to just be like, oh, I guess I got to keep my eye out for Ghostbusters stuff now, but it's for work. You're just
right?
You're secretly like, fucking yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it is the best, man. That's like the stuff as an adult you live for.
I think I got to have you working out with me on my next themed show then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see what it is.
If it's fun, let's do it.
Yeah.
Not like I'm going to show them and be like, this is not as fun as I thought it was. And leave.
Well, this is a shitty theme.
Absolutely.
I just watched the episode of, have you seen that TV show, what is it called? AP Bio yet?
No.
With the guy that played Dennis in Always Sunny.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Oh, I know what you're... Yeah, it's a sitcom, right?
Yeah. He's like a biology... Well, Pat Oswalt plays the principal, and there's an episode where he's like arguing with the teachers, like this clique of female teachers.
Yeah.
They want to have an 80s themed for their school dance, and he's like, we should do the dance in the theme of the movie Congo.
Have you watched any of The Boys?
I haven't watched any of that
I
yet,
only
no.
say it because Patton Oswalt, I won't spoil it, but he voices a very fucking... He voices somebody's gills.
Really?
Yeah.
Patton Oswalt is fucking everywhere now. Because I just started watching The Goldbergs. I'm binge watching that lately. He's the narrator on that.
Really?
Fucking, he's on AP Bio. He's the
Who doesn't
voice.
love
He's
Patton
the voice
Oswalt?
of that character on that show Happy, which is fucking really good.
He's the unicorn, that's right.
Yeah.
That show is fucking so underrated.
Yeah.
Dude, I watched like 4 episodes of that show and I forgot till you said that.
Yeah.
That show's great.
You're gonna get back into it?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
It's like the first season is all like Christmas because the villain's like this
Right.
deranged
Right?
Santa
Ooh.
Claus.
I'm
It's a
gonna watch
good show to watch
I'm gonna
around the
jump back
holidays.
in.
Yeah.
It is good. The tone is great. Because it is kind of, you're like, this dude is badass, but also this dude's a fucking moron, which is the best.
I love TV shows or movies that it's like not only are they based on a comic book,
Yeah.
but you feel like you're reading a comic book when you watch it.
I'm like, especially like, when I was younger, not so much anymore, I was like obsessed with fucking comic books and comic movies, everything. That was my shit.
Right.
And so it's like, there's so much fucking content now, and I'm not a cynic, so I think that's awesome. But like, I can't even say I like a certain type of storytelling with that anymore. Cause like I'll watch fucking like Logan and Happy and like fucking like just graphic novel shit and then silly shit. It's all there.
Right.
So I definitely get what you're saying. I really like that, like Scott Pilgrim. Like this is a fucking comic book movie.
Right.
I do like that stuff. But
I haven't seen that Scott Pilgrim, but I can imagine
if you
that
like
it is.
that stuff, like that's top notch. You'll fucking love that movie.
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
I think Michael Cera was just doing so much at the time.
Yeah.
I was like, another
Well,
Michael
that's
Cera thing.
That's fair, but go
like,
back and watch it pretending that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, now it's like he's kind of like out of the public eye enough where it's like I
Right.
can go back and watch it, probably appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now that he is not the dad in that movie with Elliot Page, and he is just Michael Cera.
Okay, I was listening to make sure you said the name correctly. I don't want to.
Absolutely.
I don't want to. Like, I know we were making transgender jokes earlier, but those were just jokes.
Yeah.
We're actually okay with people having whatever whatever fucking lifestyle you want to have.
Well, especially at the age
go
she's
for
at.
it.
I'm sure she's sure by now. Like, let her do shit. Let him do what he
Yeah.
wants. I didn't mean to do that, but
Yeah.
Yeah, if you say Michael Cera, I was like, fuck, I have to go for this relevant joke, and then miss horribly and stare off at that lunchbox.
Right. I just appreciate Ivan Reitman, the director of that movie Juno. I really like how he's like the.
I'm not that familiar.
Jason Reitman.
Juno's great though. What else?
Jason Reitman, the son of Ivan Reitman, who directed Ghostbusters.
Oh, and he's directing the new Ghostbusters
And
as well.
Jason Reitman.
His son is.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, the director of Juno was doing that. That trailer's fucking dope.
Yeah.
Dude, I think that new Ghostbusters looks sick.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about it.
I'm excited about it too, man.
I listen, like, there's a fucking million movies coming out a day. I'm a sucker for a reboot. Like, I could always go and watch something else after.
All right, let's tone down the nerdiness.
Okay.
In case anyone is even still listening.
All right. All right. Han shot first. All right, go.
Well, let's just tone it back to what this podcast is really all about.
Me.
And, you.
No.
And yes, it is about you. Like, who was I know you mentioned George Carlin. Who did you idolize growing up as a comedian?
Well, at the risk of like being called out as a poser, I didn't necessarily idolize George Carlin. I really appreciate him. He's a fucking legend. But I'd be lying if I said I grew up on him. I didn't.
All right.
But I was like, I was obsessed with Louis C.K. when I was younger. I was like, this dude's a fucking genius. I love that show. Person aside, I think that he just does incredible work. I'm a white dude with a neck beard, so I love Joe Rogan. I grew up on I've been listening to that podcast forever. It's probably not the coolest answer. I feel like it's cooler to say like Lenny Clark and like Richard Pryor, but those two really were like I was like these. Dave Chappelle.
Right.
Dave Chappelle, just as a person, opposite of like as a person, Dave Chappelle just blows my mind.
All right. Well, let's talk about Louis C.K. for a second, since he was like the first person you mentioned.
Yeah.
Like his TV show was definitely formative for me, especially going into the business. It's like Louis, the TV show Louis was just great because you got to see all the comedy clubs in New York pretty much on the show. Like you get to see East Village Comedy Club. Yeah. You get to see he hosted a mic at the comic strip, and then when I actually went to New York and actually got to go to those places, I was like, they're just like they are in the TV show Louis.
It's cool.
You know?
And in a way like Seinfeld and all those other great shows that are like that. I think specifically Seinfeld. It's just such it's so much grittier. And still so silly. Yeah. And you're like, oh, this is probably what it's like. Like, he's, like, touching the wall, working on material, like, staring at the ground, just saying shit. And you're like, oh, that's what the job is a lot of. Because I saw him at Madison Square Garden. I see Louis as that. Right. So it's cool to see him with his hand on the brick wall of the cellar, just like, oh, talking about fucking whatever.
Yeah, I saw him at, like, the Foxwoods Theater live when I saw him live back in the day. Yeah.
Fucking killer, man.
I remember he said something at the Foxwoods Theater. Like he made one joke that really stuck with me, and since I quit drinking, I think about this joke all the time. Yeah. He goes, he gestures to somebody in the audience drinking a beer or whatever. He's like, yeah. He's like, I could have been an alcoholic, but I just wanted to be able to go to my daughter's plays and not be like the loudest, most obnoxious person there.
Dude,
like I could have been somebody, and it's like, is it that?
That's been my biggest fear.
Is being a drunk is it that quick? Like you go from successful comic to that guy.
It's probably usually a slow burn.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That was not even just the drinking part, but from now that I'm 27 now, but I remember when I was 22, 23, and everybody was getting through college. I had this fucking huge weight on my chest, just knowing, because I think I've had some level of self-awareness for at least at that time beyond my years. Now fucking I think everybody caught up with me. I'm a moron, but I did have this thought in my head dude, you could very easily be this guy at a bar in 20 years that's I wanted to make movies, and then I'm in a Billy Joel song, and I was horrified of that. And that was a very real thing that drove. I really did think about that all the time.
Right.
Just because I was I like to drink. Genetically, I'm lazy. Nobody, there's a lot of amazing people in my family, but there's also a lot of people just sitting down. So I just didn't want to be that. But yeah, no, I feel like the legendary comics of the drunk is either a really slow burn or just one night blaze of glory. Like Kramer screaming at dealing with that heckler and that footage.
Was he? It's either that or he was drunk, or was he just off his rocker?
As I said that, I realized I should probably clarify. I don't know if he was drunk. I don't even you ever hear Chappelle talking about that?
Yeah.
It's the best. If anybody listening, that's where look up Chappelle's reaction to that. It's really funny.
To Michael Richards' lash out to the black folks.
It's worth a listen. More so than the original content, which is just depressing. But I don't know if he was drunk. I don't know. I mean, you never know, dude. That dude could have, not to justify talking to somebody like that, but that could have had the worst fucking day ever. I had the worst day ever sometimes and nothing happens to me. So
isn't it amazing though to be like a famous comedic actor that was on television for that many years, to go and do something on stage like that at a comedy club?
You never have those little thoughts where you're I could dismantle everything right now. Sometimes maybe you have that even when you've made it. That thought of being in a room with people, being oh, these people could really help further my life. These people think like
me. So you see a group of black people and you think the N-word? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
No, what I was saying was
everybody thinks it. We just I was no.
What I'm saying. What I was saying, Matt. Damn it! Was what if right now you and I we have this great you're oh, if I have more themed shows I'll put you on shows. That's cool for me. That's fun. And in my back of my head I'm what if I just flipped this table right now? That's more so what I meant. You always have that option to dismantle a situation in a way that we don't think about. But the chimpanzee in you is just I could just start hammering my fist on the walls.
Right.
You work in a school. You could very easily just say one thing and just be oh. And that's all I mean is that maybe if you're not doing too well mentally,
it does take a lot of energy for me to just at least not call the kids morons when they're acting
and when you're on the biggest show of all time and people are looking up at you and you're already not you're not Jerry, you're not cool, you're the man, but you're not Jerry, so you're more quirky is what I mean. I don't mean you're not as big of a deal, but you're more quirky, you're already more prone to being weird, and just one day you're just I could probably get away with this, or I'm just fuck it, I'm just gonna burn it down, or it doesn't really blow my mind. Is all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it hurts me to hear people say things that are that awful to other people, but I'm not like, why would he do that? I'm like, no, dude, I think about doing fucking awful shit all the time. Maybe his awful shit's just worse than mine. I don't know. It doesn't blow my mind when I see people melt down. Like when Britney shaved her head, I remember even as a little kid, I was like, oh, I totally get that.
That I did understand,
Yeah.
you know, but I think there was a total difference with that. It was like it's not
yeah.
like it was like an audience of like unhappy customers at a comedy
I guess
club.
I was just speaking broadly about meltdowns.
With Britney,
yeah,
where it's like
the opposite. People
it's
were
like
going to
she
her.
was also. I feel like she's one of those people where it's like child star. She became, you know, she was a child star, and then followed by the paparazzi, like fucking her entire life.
Yeah. No,
so it's like
it's awful, man. South Park nailed it. You seen that episode?
I can't remember that one.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really. I'm not gonna fucking spoil a bit that's that old. They basically have she blows her head off and people still won't leave her alone.
Oh right. I do actually.
And it really
that.
does make you sick, being like, I think she's down, guys. Like they're like, did you hear what she did? I'm like, yeah, but like she's in the fetal position. Maybe just go watch TV. It's fine. Like leave Britney alone. Remember that video?
Yeah. I remember that guy.
That was me. Is there any beverages in the fridge behind you? Not to.
You know what? I'm sorry. I should have friggin' offered you, but I actually. You know what? I might have water in here. Let me just see real quick.
I'm fine with tap. I just don't want to make you on the podcast turn the faucet on.
But I actually don't fucking have anything. I'm
no.
sorry. You want just a glass of...
Yeah. I'm a water guy. I just don't want to make you do all this walking around while I talk to the lovely people about bestiality.
No, I usually get coffee for my guests. I'm sorry I didn't get you anything.
No, it's okay. I'm not a caffeine guy, so it kind of worked out.
What are my goddamn manners?
Not funny.
So buttons. Where you grew up here in Connecticut?
Yep, Newington.
Newington.
Right.
And your parents still around, right?
Yeah. My dad, my mom and my dad were never really together, but my mom and my stepdad are still in Newington.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay. And you got siblings?
3, yeah. Rex and I are both from Newington with the oldest of 4. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
I think it's a fun fact. Just to bring
the oldest of 4. You got brothers or sisters?
3 sisters.
Oh,
I know.
shit.
Yeah, everybody says that, yeah, and it's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
So what was that like?
There was an age gap between me and the second. So I was probably like 6 or 5. So it was like a 6 or 5 year age gap. So it wasn't that weird. It was just a lot of like cock blocking and like just being like I can't have girls over, and it's like I don't know, dude. It's like especially the way my sisters were, because I'm like fucking very, 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 very white trash.
Right.
And so my sisters were fucking savages.
I feel like that doesn't rub off at all.
This is an effort though. Like I do this top button. No, it's I really did grow up in that. Like there's a filing cabinet on my front lawn of my parents' house.
Why?
I don't know. It's just what people do. It's just like there's always like a truck. Like the whole front of the house is dismantled by like fostered pit bulls. Like
okay.
Yeah, I love them, but they're great. But I'm definitely trash. And then my dad's side is way worse. And so why am I telling you about? Oh, so my sisters were savages is my point.
Okay.
So my middle sister especially, it was like having a little brother. I mean, she beat the shit out of me. She was a monster. She one of my friends babysat once. She was like a grade under me, and she was babysitting my sister. And I remember looking at the top of the stairs and being like, I'm going out, and I just see my little sister like trying to be subdued or just like held down by this girl. She's going, I don't know what, she's got Kool-Aid fucking lips. She cut her own fucking hair. She's like screaming, and I look up the stairs, and she's in like a squatting position and just shoots up and headbutts this girl I go to school with in the jaw and just like fucking dizzies her. And I was like, I mean, I gotta go.
Still left.
She's getting paid. I'm not, like, that's what It was a bad gig. I have bad gigs, you know.
Did she,
I don't get paid either.
so this girl you went to school with, did she like hate you after that, or like what?
Yeah, but not because of that. Yeah.
Oh my god. Now what are your sisters like now, though?
They're all great. Yeah, the oldest one's in college, and she's just kind of doing her thing. She likes to write. She kind of likes the same things I do, but she just kind of hanging out, like quarantine style.
Right.
Middle one just graduated high school. I don't really know what she wants to do, but she's got a good head on her shoulders. And then the youngest one is like very much like me. Like we really get along, but she's like very like I watch bad anime and I'm gender fluid and whatever like all the kids are doing, and she's a lot of fun, and I just bust her balls about it. So they're all doing good. It's just fucking the youngest one, watching her just do like quarantine life in school and like noticing she actually kind of likes it because it's easier. It scares the shit out of me. Because she's like, it's easier this way. I'm like, it's not. I mean, easy things usually.
Dude, because imagine like when those kids are like the ones in charge and we're like old people.
Dude,
like how fucked up the world's gonna be.
It's a real thing, man. Like that's a. I don't know. I'm not educated, so I won't even try to go into what the future of like this country looks like and why it scares me. But that shit freaks me out. Because some of the shit she says, I'm like, dude, like, you thought of that in your room and then convinced yourself it was true in your room and then waited for me to come to your room.
Well, some
you need to go outside. But.
It's like this younger generation totally has, like, a different vernacular. Mm-hmm. They think differently than we do. They, and it's like, it doesn't even seem like we're that much older. Yeah. But, like, it's like, I'm about to turn 30. But it's like the high school kids that I teach, I feel like my finger's way off the pulse. Like right. I don't get it. I don't get a lot of the, and it's like, I'll just give you an example. Like I feel like these kids are just like so, it's weird. It's like they adjust well to having to wear masks. Yep. They adjust well to having a social distance or whatever like the Zoom, the technology, all easy for them. But like they're so oversensitive about certain things. Yeah. That like, and it's like I just don't understand why. I walked into a classroom today, like I had to cover for a teacher, and it like smelled like gingerbread in there because she had like some kind of like gingerbread like electric candle. Yeah. Like going with Christmas music playing. All right, I was like, and I was like, oh, it smells really good in here. And one of the girls sitting on the computer goes, yeah, it does smell good. It smells like traumatic memories. And I couldn't tell if she was joking or not.
Well, that's actually pretty funny. She's just like, oh, it's Christmas time. Let me just black out till January.
But it's like. I can't tell if that's their sense of humor or it's like that's like actually what they think.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of self-loathing. They definitely like me. I think that's meme culture. You know what I think a lot of it is too, with them being sensitive. To play devil's advocate in their defense, I think like the reason it's so easy for them, for better or worse, to just go with things that they think are helping, and then getting so sensitive on the opposite end of things, is because to them, like when things are coming from a good place and they think they're doing a nice thing. Like I don't even think they really think about it, which is and then it's just validated on the internet, like immediately on social media. Whereas when we were kids, we had an idea, and even if it was coming from a good place, like you kind of just talked about it with your friends, and the only people who would validate it were like, leave the room.
But it's like in our time, it was like if you were looking to the internet to validate your feelings, it's like you're even more of a nerd.
You're gonna find snuff films, and you're gonna be it's not gonna be good.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I was like, the internet. That's not what the internet is. Yeah, it does not make any sense. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying they're coming from a good place, and I appreciate that.
But the nerd was...
But, like, you shouldn't be changing, like, policies, because...
All the internet was for when we were kids was for, like, nerds to talk about Star Trek. That was, like, it. That was literally the only thing the internet was for.
Wasn't that the best? That and just... The YouTube used to be... I mean, YouTube's still great, but... I remember as a kid just watching, you remember like Foamy the Squirrel and all that shit?
No. I don't know what Foamy the Squirrel is. Is that like the Homestar Runner kind of like
I don't know what that is, so I don't know. But it was just really, I just remember laughing harder than I've laughed as an adult once watching videos with my friends on YouTube as a kid.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's to do with the conversation, but I do remember enjoying that a lot.
Yeah, well, just to give another example from today, because that example was from today.
Right.
Another example from today was I was covering a shop class, and the kids are like...
Really? They shove you in any kind of classes?
Well, I'm a building sub, so I just sub in any classes.
Even with like, power tools and saws?
Yeah, but they're not allowed to use the power tools when I'm in there.
Okay. That's so funny to me. All right, go ahead.
I do like covering the shop class because I was just like, I'm Tim Allen now.
But pulling your belt buckle when you walk in.
The shop teacher's name is Tim, so it is kind of funny. One of the kids is like, hey, can we go outside? Can we go outside for like a mass break? You're supposed to like let them outside if they ask to go outside for a mass break.
Sure.
But I'm like, it's like really cold outside today. It's supposed to snow even.
Yeah.
And the kid's like, you can't deny us a mass break.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, fine, we'll go outside for a little while. Like immediately, as soon as I take the class outside, it's all guys in the class, so it's like they immediately start acting like a bunch of animals, jumping on the ice, tossing around a football in a snowy field.
Yeah.
One of them almost gets, whatever. I tell them to all come back inside because they're not like behaving.
Right.
These are high school kids; they should know how to behave. It's not like
I can't believe you work with high school kids. You're a badass, man. My heart rate's off listening to this right now.
I tell them to come back inside. Only one of the kids is in the following class, which is like a different class in the same room.
Right.
And he goes, all the other kids leave from that class. Other kids come in, and one kid goes, "Can we go outside?" And I was like, maybe at the end of class. And the kid that was in the class before it goes, he goes, I don't know if I want to go outside. He's like, I'm still feeling PTSD from the. It's just like, what? PTSD? But he's from playing outside.
Yeah. You like to think they have like this super postmodern sense of humor, but really, like, there's a little part of them where you're just like, dude, that you should have at least some semblance of an idea of what that word's supposed to be used for.
Right? Yeah. Because it's like, the fact is, it's like. It may be just that they have a fucked up sense of humor.
Yeah.
But the fucked up sense of humor comes from somewhere.
Right.
It's like there's a little truth to every joke.
Of course. There should. I mean, that's what they say. But I do think if you're going to have a sense of humor like that, it does go a longer way when I know it's somebody who's been through some shit. Not that somebody in high school could have been through some shit, to be fair. But you just hear kids like just trying to be super. I was like that. I was that kid who was like, you can't deny me a mass break. 100% was me. I was such a shithead. I was terrible.
Yeah.
And looking back, everything I said was such bullshit because I hadn't worked a job I hated for 3 years yet. I hadn't been like lost in a different state and it's been like, oh, I guess I should probably figure this out.
Right.
I was just eating Adderall and masturbating. I didn't know anything about life, and so. It just I don't know. I'm just thinking about that PTSD joke and just being like, have you even a semblance of idea of what people who are way less lazy than me do to get that?
But it's like, try fighting in Vietnam.
Yeah, my grandpa got Agent Orange. It's no joke, man.
Or even being around somebody that did fight in Vietnam and see what PTSD actually is.
So fucking heavy. I try not to. I don't ask them too many questions about that, but when I do, I'm just like, man, you're like a way better person than me, or worse. One of the two.
Right.
Either way, I love you. But oh my god,
this broken tape dispenser I keep playing with.
Sure.
Rex actually broke this. Like he threw it against the wall when he was playing Santa Claus.
When you were trying to wrap it?
Yeah, when I was trying to wrap gifts.
Oh, man. When is that going to come?
We really went all out with it. The guy I'm working on it with, James Compton, we're going to try to edit together. Like, would you mind if we used a couple of your jokes from that night in the?
Oh, of course not. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's fine.
So you'll be in it.
Cool.
You'll be in it. So.
All right.
Yeah, you're
the part.
You're already a part of it without even knowing.
Wow.
So it's gonna be like a stand-up mixed with this sketch where Santa Claus is. I'm actually kind of like one of my students, where it's like I feel like I'm being like emotionally abused by this Santa Claus in the sketch.
Oh man, I've recently found out there's girls. I imagine, depending on what kind of household they grow up in, maybe Jewish or something, like they have a fetish for Santa.
Really?
I don't know if it's a forbidden fruit thing. I don't know why I thought that was something we could talk about on here, but I just found out about it.
Sure, we got a couple minutes left. We might as well. Yeah,
it's Christmas time. We got a couple minutes, and I don't really have much more to add to that. But that blows my fucking mind. What? Well, no. I probably should have thought about it more. He provides. He provides. Go ahead and say what you're saying.
He's a good provider. Yeah. No. There's definitely a lot of reasons to be attracted to Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Like I don't think why wouldn't other than him being overweight?
Yeah. These are the best conversations when halfway through a sentence I'm like, oh no, it makes sense because this is what happened. Like halfway through that sentence I was like, oh no, I'm attracted to Santa Claus.
You know what? Just speaking of Christmas, not speaking of sex with Santa, but speaking of Christmas,
that is Christmas.
Speaking of Christmas, I got my sister for Christmas a cameo. I think you'll appreciate because you're a Sopranos fan, right?
I don't want to say yes and be a liar. I know I'd love it. Never took the dive.
Really?
I'm sorry. I know you love the Sopranos. I will get into it.
I eat a Turturro.
Yeah.
The sister on The Sopranos. Okay. John Turturro's sister in real life, actually, to do a Christmas poem for my sister on a cameo. Wow. And it's The Mystic's Christmas by, John Greenleaf Whittier. Like one of those like old New England fireside poets.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like a poem he wrote about Buddhist monks like during Christmas time. And I thought it'd be like a good gift for her because I'm Catholic. Like my sister's technically my half sister.
Yeah.
She's actually Jewish. Right. I'm Catholic. Yep. But I thought like just a mix of like all the religions. Like it's a poem really about monks on Christmas.
That's beautiful.
And it's the most famous TV sister is going to be reading her that poem.
Damn.
Hopefully
you covered all the bases. That's true.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah.
I should probably start Christmas shopping on that note.
Yeah. Have you done any yet? And I've been to your house, which is pretty cool.
That's my father-in-law.
We didn't even talk about you just got engaged.
I'm engaged.
You just got engaged
to the daughter of the daughter of the guy that owns that house. Yes. Daughter of the father of the man.
Where we filmed the Salem bitch trial sketch.
Yeah. With all that highway noise in the background.
Yes.
In the hundreds of years ago.
So talk about that for a minute, man. You just got engaged. How do you like the engaged life?
It's cool.
Did you buy a ring?
Well, I gave her my great grandmother's ring. I grew up in my great grandmother's house.
You didn't have to pay anything. Yeah, nice.
That's really one of ones. But I grew up in my great grandmother's house, so I could point to that and be like, that's why I'm cheap. And not even my Jewish side either. And it's fucking amazing. Like in the moment you do it, and it's like this huge fucking like. There's so much weight in the moment. Cause you're like, oh, unless I do what like 60% of Americans do, this is gonna be a really long fucking commitment.
Right.
And so it's super heavy, and then you kind of had panic attacks for a week, and you watch like too much porn, like to compensate for the fact, and then you're just like, and then it evens out, and you feel good. For anybody listening, he looked at me so fucked up when I said that.
Because there was definitely, there was a very broad, like, I was not expecting that to be the answer.
No, I'm being a moron. I'm just, you're with one person for the rest of your life, and then you're just, as a guy, you're just like, but it's really not that. It's just, we've been together for 7 years now. it's just, I don't know. It's just, it kind of feels the same, but saying fiance, it's just got a little more James Bond to. Well, maybe not James Bond because he would never get married, but it's a little cooler than saying girlfriend. Is my point. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It rolls off. It's French.
Engaged.
Yeah.
Fiance. Say
Yeah.
fancy fucking shit, bro.
I know. That's why I had to start wearing shirts with buttons on them.
Yeah. I mean, they're, what are those, like leopards?
I still got a party, man. I can't just,
I could wear these shirts that gay men would wear, and no one could call me gay because I'm engaged.
The other shirt I bought, like, this is pink, so fuck you. That's great.
It's like Homer Simpson said. He's like, we're Hawaiian shirts. He's like, there's only two kinds of people that could wear Hawaiian shirts, and that's gay guys and big fat party animals.
That's absolutely true.
But you're a big fat party animal, so it works.
And I'm gay.
All right. We just hit an hour, so we're winding down. I got one other question I was going to ask you.
Sure.
It's just you were a postal worker.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the movie Jacob's Ladder?
No, I'm a movie guy, but I've never watched Jacob's Ladder.
I think you should check because you worked as a postal worker. I think you need to check out Jacob's Ladder.
All right,
because it will make you question everything.
I'm writing it right here in my notes, and that will be what I take away from this podcast. Jacob's Ladder.
Because I like to see this podcast. Especially now that I'm talking to a postal worker, that the main character in that movie was a postal worker.
Yeah. Is he suicidal?
Well,
then it's not accurate.
I don't want to. I don't want to give anything away. But all I want to say is like that. I've felt since I started since I've seen Jacob's Ladder really that this podcast is my personal Jacob's Ladder.
This one right here.
Yeah. Well,
right.
this
podcast
in general,
okay.
The whole every episode is another step.
Sure. All right, I'll watch the movie to understand how that'll resonate with me because right now it's going over my head.
All right,
but I'll watch it.
Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast, sir.
This was a lot of fun, man.